Sinners had a good run, but Thunderbolts is gonna dominate. I hope so. I mean, Thunderbolts right now is tracking below Captain America: Brave New World. So I'm hoping in its second week it's able to kind of continue earning to really bring Marvel back into those major conversations that we used to have, like when they were just dominating all the time. We just wanted to constantly go back and watch the movie over and over and over again. Um, so I'm hoping that this is one of those things for them. I really do wish well for the Marvel brand and franchise. I love these characters. I love these worlds. Um, I'm hoping it does it. I'm hoping it does it. They should not have taken so long to go see it in IMAX. But this is what happens when you have stories people don't know, right? Like a lot of people I know didn't even know Sinners was coming out. Like they'd never heard of it, right? Like they didn't see any advertisements for it. There were no like, and I live in New York City, so when I say advertisements, typically what we look for like billboards or maybe something on at bus stops, like posters or something on the sides of buses. They'll have like banners on it. We'll or even in the subway, we'll see things that will let us know that the movie is coming out. And Sinners didn't really have that. Um, a lot of the people who I knew about it was because I told them about it. And that was like their big thing. They were like, "Oh, Ryan Coogler's got a movie? How come I didn't know that?" Like that was the main reaction. But now that they know, and they're like, "Well, is it good?" Like Sinners, what vampires? I don't really do horror like that. These are tough sells, right? Horror, vampires, rated R. eh, these are tough sells in the box office. Those movies don't traditionally do like hundreds of millions of dollars like that. Like maybe 800 million, maybe, but not hundreds, plural. But yeah, the Sinners is one of those movies that was going an uphill battle anyway, being an original property. Not, I didn't see much advertising for it, and yeah, it was just an unproven thing. Like when we say, "Oh, there's an Avengers movie coming out," I think people will have an easier time to say, "All right, I'll see it," and even if they don't even know what it's about, right? They'll be like, "Well, I know I had a good time with the last one, so I'll see the new one, and hopefully they deliver." Right? Like Avengers has that impulsivity to it that Sinners didn't enjoy. Anyway, I could go on and on. What else? Thunderbolts is the best MCU movie since Spider-Man: No Way Home. I could say yeah, sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we don't even have to limit it to the movies, right? We could go into Disney Plus too, right? Like it's this is definitely the best thing since then, and that is true, 100% true. Um, I think Sinners will get a sequel? I don't know if sequel Sinners needs a sequel. Honestly, I don't think it really needs one. I feel like it was like one of those one and dones. I think the best example was like From Dusk Till Dawn. It was like one of those movies that should end at one, right? Like I get it, leave me wanting more, but we good, we good, right? Like, what are we going to find out? That Sammy had more adventures with vampires in between when we see him at the beginning of Sinners and when he is older. Like, maybe, like, do we really need that? Because like, it would feel forced, and I don't think unless there's a underlying story that's of real value to tell, I don't know if it's necessary. I would say let Coogler and Michael B move on to other projects that they can work on together, similar to what Christopher Nolan does with some of his actors, right? Like Killian, we ain't got to keep doing the same movie. We could do. I got other ideas. Let's cook, right? So that's where I think that it can really shine. But yeah, let me go ahead. Let me share this with you all. Let's talk about Thunderbolts. Okay, so let me go ahead and start. So, what happens when Marvel throws the B team into the deep end without a lifeguard, right? You get trauma, you get desperation, and you get one very pissed off Sentry. This is Thunderbolts, and it's got hands, y'all. This movie's got hands. But hey, welcome back to TMB, The Correct Opinion. If you're just now joining, I'm Anthony, and today we're diving into the Thunderbolts movie review and reaction. Now, Marvel took MCU's most unstable characters and gave them a mission, threw in a god-tier threat, and basically said, figure it out. And surprise, chaos ensues. So does it work? Yeah, but also, what the fuck just happened? Like, what the heck? What just happened? Let's catch up. A group of anti-heroes that we've met from several previous Marvel films and television shows. Yelena Belova, who's taking over as the new Black Widow. Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. Red Guardian, Ghost, Taskmaster, John Walker, aka U.S. Agent. They all get wrangled into a mission by Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. And they're initially forced into what looks like a Black Ops heist. Except the heist goes wrong. And then there's a splash of redemption arc. Look, most of them fight each other on sight until Taskmaster gets murked and they discover they're locked in a room with a person they later learn is Marvel's most dangerous science project, Bob Reynolds, aka the Sentry. By the way, this is a spoiler review. Let's get into the good. This movie slapped, right? Louis Pullman as the Sentry is phenomenal. I saw this casting and immediately knew that Marvel was back to getting it popping like fish grease. Bob is sweet. He's kind. He looks like the kind of guy who says sorry when you bump into him. And then he turns into what looks like an Asgardian god, right down to the blonde hair and ultra chiseled physique. He's majestic. And he's utterly brutal as the Sentry, almost like a Viltrumite. He easily dog walks the Thunderbolts without even breaking a sweat. And then he breaks. And then the Void shows up. And suddenly, we're not in Marvel anymore. We're in a fucking horror movie. There's one moment I loved. And if you're a longtime fan, it hits. Like, there's this moment where the Thunderbolts try to ambush the Sentry inside the same room that the Hulk ragdolled Loki in Avengers Tower. And let me tell you, Bob makes the Hulk look gentle. Right? He makes him look gentle. He demolishes every single one of them. Yelena gets yeeted. Red Guardian gets bent like a lawn chair. Bucky ends up in a wall. It's brutal, hilarious, and it's a big reminder they are not ready for this man. Florence Pugh, she is the soul of this movie. Her Yelena carries the grief, the sarcasm, and the moral compass, sometimes all in the same scene. She gives Taskmaster a real moment of humanity, which is wild considering Taskmaster gets about 5 lines total, but still pulls it off she still pulls it off with an award quality performance. And then there's John Walker, aka U.S. Agent, aka not Captain America. He's become the MCU's punching bag. And yeah, it's funny, but it hurts. Wyatt Russell brings this tragic energy to Walker, like he's trying so hard to be the hero. He gives speeches, he takes hits, he stands tall and still ends up being the joke. There's a scene where he steps up to the Void like it's his moment, and Bob just okos him like everyone, and everyone just keeps moving, right? There's no dramatic music, there's no payoff, and he just gets humbled. I felt that. There's a chicken fight scene. This isn't what you think. Unless you're a Family Guy fan, then this is exactly what you think. And this is another wild moment in this movie. It happens when the team is traveling through a dreamscape and a journey that seems a lot like Multiverse of Madness mixes with a little WandaVision for good measure. It's dumb, it's fun, it's loud, it's Marvel with the lid off. And the costumes, fire, fuego. Oh my gosh, the costumes. Even Ghost, who literally flickers in and out of visibility, manages to rock a stealth suit that makes S.H.I.E.L.D. agents jealous. But definite hats off to Dave Fontaine's costume department for giving my man the Sentry the best MCU costume I've seen in years. And that includes the Wolverine costume. Nah. Bob's costume, they snapped. They snapped with this one. That shit was straight fire. But before you get me too hyped, look, this ain't a perfect movie. This ain't a perfect movie. The early fights, Yelena's hallway scene, the action starts off stiff and over choreographed, like actors practicing for the real take that never came. Like, I half expected her to say, "This is where you fall down." The jokes are relentless. Like, Marvel brought in a sitcom laugh track and never turned it off. Like, this movie just can't stop joking. Every moment you think it's going to be serious, it's got a wisecrack, right? You'll have characters confronting trauma, and in the middle of it, someone drops a pun. And the shit is relentless. It's just downright relentless. Like, I want to feel bad. But someone always has to act like it's open mic night and John Walker is sitting in the front row. And I have to take a moment to just talk about how wasted Taskmaster is in this movie. Don't get me wrong. Don't fall for it. I wasn't caping for Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie, and I didn't really like the direction they took the character. But even with that said, I still felt like her character deserved better. The murking felt like a throwaway, and it wasn't additive to the story in any way. They could have had Taskmaster's passing mean something. Like, I don't know, maybe have an Agent Phil Coulson moment, right? Where her passing rallies the team to work together. But nope, she was here and gone, and then the vulture started picking the meat off her bones before her body was even cold. And another thing, Valentina's tone shift is jarring. Like, sometimes she's cold and calculating. Other times she's cracking jokes like she's auditioning for The View. I don't know who wrote her scenes, but they definitely didn't talk to the person writing The Void. And the stakes? Listen, you've got world-ending power in play. But the fallout is basically, well, just undo all the consequence of the Void. Let's just undo everything so nobody actually got hurt. Like, what? Like, the MCU's just gonna move on like that wasn't a full-on God slapping people through buildings for what? And where the F is Spider-Man? Where the F is Spider-Man? Last time he saw a world-ending threat, he didn't run away from the beef. He ran towards it. That's how he ended up on a spaceship in Infinity War. You mean to tell me he didn't see this shit going down and feel like maybe he should get involved? Yo, this dude fights sand monsters, but he won't try to come out here and save. What the? So here's where I land. Thunderbolts is messy. Thunderbolts is unhinged. But Thunderbolts is occasionally brilliant. It's Marvel letting their freak flag fly. And even when it stumbles in an interesting direction. The performances are solid, the spectacle is bonkers, and the character beats, especially for Yelena and Sentry, they hit harder than expected. Chaotic fun? Yeah, that's the phrase. Chaotic fun. If you're here for flawless storytelling, this might not be it, bro. This might not be it. But if you want a multiversal fistfight type energy with some emotional scars, welcome to the show. Anyway, that's all I have for my Thunderbolts review. Look, if you like what you heard, make sure, please hit that like, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys who are watching live thought about this movie. Was the Sentry too OP? Because, like, they gave him some powers that I don't think he had in the comics. Like, he couldn't just make you relive your worst memory by touching you before. And he couldn't pop up in your dream, right? That was the other thing about it. Not only did he make you relive your worst memory, he was there to watch. Front seat. Was he too OP? Is John Walker ever going to catch a break? My man got his shield bent and nobody bent it back. Yo, and you know what's the worst part? You in a room, you got 3 super soldiers. Bucky's got a vibranium arm. You mean nobody's going to help him fix his shield? Why is he still using that one? And who do you think deserves a solo spinoff now? Do we think we need a new Black Widow movie with Yelena? Do we think we need another movie with the Thunderbolts? Or maybe US Agent? Anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Again, if you're just now joining, please give this video a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you all think. But what are y'all saying in the comments right now? Let's bring this back. Let's bring it back. Oh, we going in, Fernando. We going in. I'm sorry. I threw it in there like, oh, I should say that this is spoilers. But yeah. A prequel sounds awesome. A prequel to Sinners would be dope. Yes, because I want to know how. So I need to see more about them Native Americans. I want to know about these cowboy, horseback riding Native Americans that are hunting vampires across the United States. I need to see this story. Now, this is a question that I actually posed to E-Man, to pose to Ryan Coogler. Shout out to E-Man from E-Man's Reviews. I think he has his interview with Coogler posted on his channel. He might have a video, but Coogler came to Chicago, talked to him, and one of the questions I was like, yo, you got to ask him about a prequel. He asked him. I don't think Coogler was aware that there would be such an interest in the Native Americans, but I think that there is, and they absolutely would eat in a spinoff movie about vampire hunting Native American. Yo, make it so. But yeah, back to Thunderbolts. The boy was crazy. Yes, I was so pleasantly surprised. I was wondering if they was going to give him like the crab claw look. Like, is he going to look like Ursula, but in shadow? Was that the direction they was going to, Ursula from the Little Mermaid? Like, is that the direction they was going to go? But they kept it simple, but they kept it terrifying. Like, whoo, they cooked with this one. They cooked. Taskmaster was done dirty. She didn't last more than 5. Yeah, that was a big problem for me because Taskmaster was actually the most redeemable one, surprisingly. Like, she was the first one to sit here and be like, I'm going to help one of y'all. Like, we're not here to just take each other out. I'm not even here for you. I'm here for the other. Like, it could have been so much better. I would have liked to see more Ghost. She disappears in the second half of the movie. Me too. Like, if you're gonna give these characters presence in this film, let them have some really good moments. I feel like every character had so much opportunity to delve into them a little bit more. I think one of the biggest missed opportunities is that we didn't follow each of the characters into their hidden fears when they went into Bob's shadow world. I think Ty might have brought this up on the new Blerd Order yesterday, but yeah, I think that was one of the biggest missed opportunities because it would have given us opportunities to learn more and connect more with these characters, especially on a rewatch, right? Like, if I learned something in the latter part of the movie that makes this character's earlier actions seem more significant, I might watch it again. But yeah, I would have liked to see more there too. They spent a little bit too much time in the facility. Yes, they could have just made the movie a little longer, but yes, the facility was a little, it didn't need to be that long. I agree. I totally agree that was a long time, right? Maria Graciela says, I really enjoyed the movie, but the third act was weak. So yes, I think, again, my biggest issue with the third act for me anyway was two things. One, where the F is Spider-Man, right? For a world that is supposed to be an interconnected universe, it's horribly inconsistent as to when these characters get involved. Sure, maybe we'll learn in the future that Spider-Man was off saving people in Queens. Maybe he was in Queens. Maybe he was in Brooklyn. Maybe he was somewhere else when all this stuff was going down and he couldn't make it to Manhattan. But I would have liked to have just gotten a hint of what these other characters were doing that inhabit this island. Like, there's a lot of heroes on the island of Manhattan. Even if it was like, I think Bad Ty said, if it's like you pass by a TV and there's a news reporter talking about, a man in unbreakable skin is holding up a building with on top that fell on top of an orphanage, like something like that, right? Like, or Kingpin, like vigilantes, whatever. But yeah. What's the next one? I can't take her seriously after seeing her play Elaine in Seinfeld for so many years. I can take her seriously. It just depends on if they give her jokes. Because if they give her jokes, then I think that because I'm so familiar with her, I almost anticipate her comedic beats, which are really, really good. Like she's sharp with the comedy. When she's delivering her lines, they're really good. I'm not saying that she's doing a bad job. She's actually doing really freaking good. But it's a lot of comedy. It's a lot of comedy, especially for a character that wasn't displaying this level of comedy in her previous appearances. I just felt like it was a big shift in her character, personality, and the way that they present her. Let's see. Maybe Peter was too depressed. He lost his girlfriend and beat friend after. He don't want to come out? No. Nah, Pete, he listen. With great power, Spider-Man's gonna pop up, right? Typically, he don't back down from a fight. My man saw a big, giant circle Ferris wheel building size thing terrorizing Manhattan. He jumped out of a moving bus off of a bridge and he ran towards the beef. He ain't run away from it. He ran towards the beef. So Spider-Man is on some goon stuff in the MCU. He don't turn around from a fight, even if he might not win. So yeah, I'm going to need an explanation and an understanding as to what Peter happened to be doing when New York was under attack this day. Yelena is more interesting than Natasha. Let me think about that one. Is Yelena more interesting than Natasha? I disagree, because Natasha's been eaten since Iron Man 2. And ever since that we got introduced to her, there's always been this aura of mystique and mystery that carried her appeal for years. Now, I do think that the character having a movie after we had her on screen passing in Avengers Endgame, I don't think that was really well-timed release, even for a prequel. I do like that it did have the passing of the torch with Yelena, but I do think that Scarlett Johansson just has too many iconic moments in the MCU franchise for Yelena to compare right now. Now, not to knock Yelena, she is super interesting, she's super impressive, and she's had some great appearances in the MCU thus far. But I still remember the moment. I still get chills from that moment in Captain America Civil War when Black Widow was walking with I think it was T'Challa over to his car, or walking up on T'Challa, and the Dora Milaje was like, move or be moved. And I immediately needed to see this fight. She's got that aura to her that makes me instantly think, how does she match up to Adora Milaje? I don't get that from Yelena yet. I'm not saying she can't handle Adora Milaje, but I would be concerned. I would be concerned because Black Widow can hold up for a while against super soldiers. We've seen her fight super soldiers and hold her own. Yelena got hurt by John Walker, the same dude who got beat up by the Dora Milaje. I need to see her have some more iconic moments for me to build up that excitement for her right now. I think that she's got a lot more interest because she's new and she's refreshing, but I don't want to dismiss all of the cool things that I love about Natasha. And I was going to say this in the new Blerd Order yesterday, but I forgot to bring it up. I honestly think Natasha would have been a better fit for this movie than Yelena. No cap. I think if Natasha didn't get murked in another movie and she was still operating as a Black Widow, I think that she would have been a better fit into these Thunderbolts than this one. It would have helped if we also got Hawkeye as well. But I think that Black Widow, with her history, with her appeal, with what we know of her, would have had the proper buildup. Plus, it would have lent possibly leaned into the relationship that she shares with Bucky in the comics. Now, I don't know what Marvel's going to do in the future with Marvel Studios, but in the comics, I'm going to just say Black Widow and Bucky got some history. And they could have leaned into that. So I would personally would have been really interested if Natasha was here. Marquisha, what's going on? Appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. Oh, snaps. We live. Listen, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. We've been going live for like 53 minutes. I'm probably going to wrap this up within the next half hour or so. But yeah, I did. We live right now. We talked about The Last of Us. We're talking about Thunderbolts right now. Let me see what you all think about Thunderbolts. The movie was better than expected. I wish I could have seen more of Sentry's powers. Yo, we didn't listen. Listen, the Thunderbolts couldn't handle any more of Sentry's powers. Okay, listen. Even Yelena said it, like, oh, so we just shoot and have knives. There's 3 super soldiers and no real powers. Like, if there was a real threat, they are not nearly the same level of team as the Avengers. Even after 14 months after the end of the movie, for those of you who saw the end credit scene, you saw that the Thunderbolts became the Avengers or the new Avengers. Even 14 months into it, they're still the B-Vengers, the B-Vengers. Like, the public isn't accepting them. There are 3 super soldiers, a spy, and a person who phases through walls. What are they going to do if the Hulk shows up? Or the Red Hulk? Right? Them 3 super soldiers, they getting, I don't know. I don't know. What are they going to do if there's a magical threat? They ain't got no Doctor Strange. What are they going to do? They ain't got no Iron Man. What are they going to do? They could not handle any more of Bob showing off his powers. They were overwhelmed. They were overwhelmed. Oh, man. How many people's checking? We got 12 on YouTube, 30 on X. What's going on, all my X-Men? Appreciate you coming through. Listen, if you're watching on X, do me a favor. Please, please, please give this video a heart. Or if you feel so inclined, come on over to YouTube. Listen, the chat over on YouTube is popping. There's a lot going on in the chat. I know you guys can't all see the chat, but the chat can see the chat because they're on YouTube. And I can see the chat from all the platforms we're on. We're live now on YouTube, X, and I think we're live on Rumble because why not? See how it is. I hear these guys are welcoming. Nice people. See what's going on Rumble. Let's see. Red Guardian and Natasha and Yelena deserve solo movies. Slow down. Red Guardian and Yelena, I would be all right if they had like a Disney Plus series. Like, give us New Avengers, the TV show, like Avengers West Coast type, low level, almost getting what would they do against Ultron? Yeah. Yeah. I don't even think they can handle Sandman. Like, this is yo, stop. We gotta stop. We gotta hold on. Oh, all right. I stopped taking Natasha seriously after that first Avengers, but the heroes were all back to back. And then there she was with her pitiful little gun. Like, girl, what are you gonna do that the Hulk can't? Nothing except be persuasive. Like, I don't think so. So the interesting thing about Natasha to me is that she keeps up with super soldiers, which is incredible. I'm not saying she's beating a super soldier, but she keeps up with super soldiers. When she had that fight in was it Winter Soldier or Brave New World? I think it was, no, I'm sorry, was it Winter Soldier or Civil War? I think it was Civil War, where she was fighting Bucky. Like, Bucky was like running through the building and she started giving him these elbows on the top of his head, like giving him the business, electrocuting him. I was like, yo, Natasha, like, with a super soldier with a bionic arm. Yo, like, and we know what super soldiers who are capable can do. Captain America was in a fist fight with Ultron. Super soldiers who know what they can, like, know how to handle themselves are a problem. Natasha could keep up with super soldiers, but yo, Yelena is not there. Yelena is not there. So I hear you. But Natasha gave us what? She was in Iron Man 2 before that, before Avengers, and she was kind of cooking. She was cooking. She was cooking. She was doing a thing. Sentry, the Sentry, not century like the year or 100 years. Sentry, like a person who stands guard. Sentry. Can take Doomsday by himself, right? I don't know, because Sentry, to my expectation, he's going to be Superman level strength, and Superman can't take Doomsday by himself. So I don't know about that one. I don't know. He meant to say Dr. Doom. Oh, well, he could take Dr. Doom by himself. I don't know, because we don't know what this Dr. Doom is going to be capable of. Now, I know in the comics, if Dr. Doom was unprepared, then it would be a challenge for Doom. But if Dr. Doom was like prepared, he's got way too much intelligence and way too much ability to lose to the Sentry. Mainly because, in addition to his ability to be hyper smart, create devices, he creates suits of armor. His intelligence is on par, up there with Reed Richards, who's usually recognized as the smartest person in the universe. And he's competing with him on an intellectual level. He's also got the capability of magic, which is something that Iron Man and Reed Richards don't. He actually took the time to learn the mystic arts to grow to the level to compete with Stephen Strange for the role of Sorcerer Supreme. I believe there's a comic storyline right now going on in comics where he is the Sorcerer Supreme. He is the top magician in Marvel. Like, nobody's power exceeds his on a magical level. So, Dr. Doom, I think if they were to give us an iteration that was similar to what they have in the comics, would overpower the Void. He would, especially if he's prepared. If he's unprepared, there's a chance. It would be a challenge. But yeah. Let me see. Markeisha is laughing. The post-credit scene spoils the ending of Fantastic Four. Yeah, but wasn't it kind of predictable? Like, what are we talking about? It was like, oh man, the rain made it prove that the water was wet. Like, we knew that universe wasn't lasting. Once they said that they were in another universe and that Doomsday was coming and that they were going to star in it, we kind of could figure out that this universe isn't going to be around much longer. That universe is probably going to go. So I think it was like a foregone conclusion that we like to highlight to kind of just, I don't know. I think as we could sometimes like to prove people or try to make people put people down for something that was clear. I don't know. Marvel doesn't deserve to be singled out for spoiling this one, I don't think. Oh, shoot. I was going to I didn't have enough time, but I was going to put on my Jedi costume. May the fourth be with y'all. I mean, wait, hold on. Not we don't. Is this the wrong show? Is it? All right, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. May the fourth be with you, mother. Oh man, how could I forget? May the fourth be with you all. Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. I feel like Natasha keeping up with super soldiers was just plot armor because there ain't no daggone way. Listen, she was a formidable Black Widow. Okay, she was not an average Black Widow. Hopefully, they'll show us one day that she has enhancements that we don't know about to help justify it. But so far, this woman was cooking. Like, yo, ain't nobody else like her. Let me see what else we got. Doomsday gotta legit be the scariest of Superman's villains. He's even scarier than Darkseid to me, and Darkseid is basically the embodiment of evil itself. So there's a story from way back when, a rematch between Superman and Doomsday. I think the first time, we all know how that ended. Superman got murked. But the second time, Doomsday somehow came back and got dropped on Apocalypse, where Darkseid is. And Darkseid sends all his forces, stop Doomsday, and they all get crushed. And it ends up to the point where Doomsday and Darkseid get into a fist fight and have to try to resolve it themselves. I ain't going to spoil that comic, but for all you comic heads out there, and I know there's some of you out there who don't know all these great stories that exist, go find Superman Doomsday 2. I think it was created by the same creative team that did the end of Superman, Dan Jurgens and Kurt Busiek, I think it was. Maybe Kurt. I could be wrong. But yeah, go ahead and find that story. It's a really, really, really cool story. Word. Live long and prosper, my man. Live long and prosper, my G. Dope Saber. Thank you. I got this one from Star Wars Celebration, I think in 2022 in Anaheim. It was when I think we got to be there during, they had the premiere of Obi-Wan, and they were starting to tell us about Andor. And man, Andor was something, it turned out to be way different than what they announced back then. And I don't think anybody really wants to talk about what they initially announced versus what came out. But man, Andor, like the way when they announced it, they was like, yo, we got 22 episodes. We're going to break it into 2 parts or something like that, some crazy thing. And then they came back later and it was like, nah, it's going to be 2 seasons, but they're only going to be 3 months apart in releases because we've already filmed everything. This is back in 2022. And they had just started filming Ahsoka because they had already finished filming all 22, 24 episodes of Andor. And here we are in 2025, and we're just now getting the second part of Andor. So I can't help but wonder what happened in the 3 years. Like, it was supposed to come out in 2022, 2023, and then it didn't come out till 2 years later. I smell a reshoot. Like, what are we doing? Anyway, nobody wants to talk about that. Hey, thank you. Yes, Doomsday was on Apocalypse. This had to be the 90s, maybe the early 2000s. This was a while ago. I've been reading comics since 93, 94. Like, at one point I had read every issue of Amazing Spider-Man from 1 to like 500. And then I was real, like, I don't think I understand. For a while, this channel wasn't going to be about movies. I was going to just sit there and try to be like Comics Explained or Comic Historian, because my comic book knowledge is heavy. But I decided to go with movies and TV. Andor is the best Star Wars Disney has done. Made me go watch Rogue One again. Listen, I'm happy that you enjoy it. I wish I enjoyed it more. But I am happy for everyone who does enjoy it. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, because I don't enjoy it, cancel it, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to go online and promote, this is the worst thing Star Wars has ever done. And I'm not one of those people. I don't put down Star Wars shows just because I don't like it. But I do I respect it, enjoy it. You know, it's dope. We all should have stories that we all enjoy in each universe. And Andor, I'm glad, is where you're finding your entertainment. I just googled the end of credits of Thunderbolts. I had no desire to see that movie, and yeah, that's a wild way to screw over the Fantastic Four. Yo, Skylar, it's not a bad movie. Like I hear you. You talking to the man who won. Never saw Secret Invasion, and you know why I never saw Secret Invasion? Because I didn't want that stuff taking up space in my memory banks. Straight up, and I don't think it could get more sincere and honest than that. I literally just don't want it taking up space in my memory banks. I'm not watching Secret Invasion. I'm not watching Agatha. I'm not watching Echo. I'm not watching Daredevil, Born Again. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Spider-Man, the Friendly Neighborhood cartoon. What If season 3? I don't know. But Thunderbolts, you did all right. You did all right, Thunderbolts. You did all right. I respect it. Go ahead. R.I.P. comic story. Yeah, R.I.P. to Benny, man. R.I.P. to Benny. You know, I got to meet Benny once. Years ago at New York Comic Con. I met him and I met Rob from Comics Explained. I'm actually a member of the Rob Corps. And you know you're a true member of the Rob Corps when you have your Rob Corps ring. Where's my ring? It's on my desk somewhere. I'm not going to dig it up right now, but I do have an actual Rob Corps lantern ring that Rob gave me personally. It's a funny story, but yeah, cool thing. I got to meet Comic Story and I got to meet Rob. This had to be 2021, 2022, something like that at New York Comic Con. Rob and Benny were just walking around. They had a panel. They actually had their own panel, which was unheard of for YouTubers at the time. Just to have a panel, like, what are you going to talk? And they just did Q&A, which was great. Let's see. I understand people who don't like it. It takes 5 or 6 episodes to really get going. So I was on the panel with the new Blerd Order yesterday, and Michael said the same thing that I've been saying, like almost word for word, almost like he was trying to, like he's been watching my show and he said it word for word anyway, he was like, I don't watch Andor because I can't get past the 3rd episode. It keeps putting me to sleep. And some of you have heard me say these exact words. I want to enjoy Andor, but it makes my eyelids so heavy by episode 3 because I still don't understand why this dude shot those people. I don't understand why are we here. It just I'm sorry. I want to like it. I really do. I tried 3 times, maybe 4. I tried like 3 times and I had to start over from the beginning because I'm like, there must be something I missed to explain why we're here. It can't be me. I do this for like, I've been doing this for like 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is. I follow story. I follow plot. What is going? I'm sorry. Enjoy Andor, my man. I don't want to. I never read Thunderbolts. How comic book accurate is the movie? Not at all. Not at all. Because in the comics, the Thunderbolts were appeared as a team when, like, I think this was when the Avengers sacrificed themselves for Onslaught. So there was a time when, like, Onslaught, which was the combination of Magneto and Professor X, took on the X-Men and the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. And in order to stop Onslaught, those heroes had to sacrifice themselves. And for a while, there were no Avengers on Earth because they were all sacrificed. So to kind of fill the void, another team showed up. And there was this dude named Citizen V who walked around with like an American flag for a cape and had a sword. There was this dude in armor called, I think, Mach 1. There was this woman called Songbird who had harmonics who flew out of her mouth, kind of like Black Canary in DC Comics. There were like all these other characters in the Thunderbolts that were very, very different than the characters that we see in the movie. And then they're doing heroic things in the Thunderbolts group. They're starting to be accepted by the world to be heroes. And then at the end of the comic, there's a wild twist, like M. Night Shyamalan level. I didn't see this coming at all level twist when it's revealed that Citizen V is actually Baron Zemo in disguise. And all of the heroes on the team are actually villains masquerading as heroes in order to win over the public for their own nefarious plot. So the movie is not at all comic accurate. The comic was about something else completely. This is more similar to the Dark Avengers story than the Thunderbolts, when Norman Osborn created his own Avengers team out of villains, with some of them actually wanting to do good or good-ish, or just not nearly as evil as Norman Osborn intended for them to be. So I would say, if anything, it's closer to Dark Avengers than Thunderbolts, the comic. Don't watch Daredevil Born Again. I made that mistake. I came close. E-Man was really pushing me to watch it. He was like, yo, you got to watch this. They just gave me the whole season. It's really good. Marvel is back. And I was like, is it as good as the Netflix series? He was like, slow down. I didn't say that. He's like, I said it was really good. I said, is it as good as the Netflix series? He's like, it's really good. And I was like, all right, well, that tells me everything. And I'm going to wait for the show to release, see what the public reaction is before I go into that. But yeah, I didn't watch it. I love Andor. It's just as good as The Mandalorian. Sweet. Listen, happy for you. Not really in love with The Mandalorians last season, but I'm happy for you. I'm really, Mandalorian started off really good. And some of Boba Fett when The Mandalorian took over. But I'm happy for you, man. Look, everybody's got different taste, and that's okay. I think one of the best things that Star Wars has been doing is that they've been making different shows for different target audiences. Now, audiences don't like that, because when they're not the target audience, they call it bad. They downplay it, they dispel it. Secret Invasion, maybe it was for somebody else, wasn't for me. Echo, heard it was really good for certain people, wasn't for me. I loved The Acolyte, wasn't for everybody. I loved Ahsoka, wasn't for everybody. But Star Wars does have shows that target a whole bunch of different audiences. So even if it's not universally acclaimed amongst the Star Wars audience, these little offshoot shows can bring more people into the brand. Like, hey, people who don't normally watch Star Wars might like Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. Let's bring that in. Or people who don't normally like Star Wars might like Manny Jacinto and The Acolyte. Let's bring that in. And go from there. Keep building on this universe, keep building different areas of the galaxy that people can enjoy, similar to how Andor is completely different and builds on in different areas of the galaxy for people to enjoy as well. Keep doing it. I love this stuff.
The Andor and the Last of Us thing around, because I think Last of Us is a little more prevalent. So, having said that, we're going to go ahead and get into our spoilers for the Thunderbolts. And since we are spoiling, don't hesitate, Anthony, to let your feelings be heard, fam. Okay, so go ahead, guys. You've been officially warned. Spill the beans, fam.
I liked it overall. I did like it overall. I think it was probably Marvel's best put together movie in a while. I did have issues with it though, right? But let me start with what I think was good about it. Like, I thought the Sentry was great. I thought everything with the Sentry was fire. I thought his introduction, his costume, his energy, his aura, the way he handled himself, as well as Louis Pullman's performance in showing that he's a fragile man. Mentally, he's unstable. At any point, he could slip into a mind state of darkness, and that manifests itself in the void. So I love the way that they handled the character and the adaptation from the comics, because this is the Bob that I wanted to see. It doesn't have his full origin. It's not like that. Of course, they MCU it out, but overall, I think they really nailed the character. Another thing that I really liked was that Bucky was a big part of this movie. Okay. I think he had a really cool introduction into the movie. I think he had a sense of grounding to at least make it seem familiar for me from coming in from the old MCU into where we're headed now. I really like that. What I didn't like though was what they did to the Taskmaster. Now, I'm not sitting here caping for Taskmaster. The Taskmaster wasn't my favorite character when she was introduced in Black Widow, but I thought that her character could have been used better. Like, her character is straight up wasted in this movie. Like, what could have been a rallying call, kind of like what Agent Coulson was to the original Avengers. Yeah. This death could have been to the Thunderbolts. And because they didn't do that, I think it was a huge wasted opportunity and a misuse of the character. Yeah. But overall, yeah, I like this movie. I did enjoy it. It didn't have the consequence that I hoped that it would. As soon as you felt like danger was coming, they pulled that shit right back and undid everything. Yeah. And where the fuck is Spider-Man? Like, where the hell are the other New York superhero? Like, he saw this and just turned around and went home. Like, where was Spider-Man? I hope in another movie or in a series, whatever they do, they at least show this man was like saving lives, you know, stopping rubble from falling on strollers, that kind of stuff. Like, if he saw the void and said no, you know, then at least go save some lives. I hope that's what happened to him. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right, fair. All good points. Let's go ahead and go to Michael Lamar next. So, Mr. Lamar, what say you about the movie? Do you agree with Ant? Does he have points? Or was it just good all around and we're not seeing the beauty of this art form that you got here?
Not you giving out my full government.
Michael Lamar.
Am I in trouble? Michael Lamar, come down here. But I really enjoyed the movie. So I have two minds of the movie. As a movie in and of itself, with Thunderbolts, I really enjoyed it. Like, I love the chemistry between all of these characters: Yelena, Red Guardian, Bucky, John Walker, U.S. Agent. Like, and this movie actually made me like U.S. Agent more. He's still an asshole, but in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I was like, oh, this nigga, like, kill his ass. Like, I don't like him. It's like, but in this one, I was like, okay, like he's coming around, and a lot of that has to do with like Wyatt Russell's performance. But this movie also like fully solidified Yelena Belova, played beautifully by Florence Pugh, being one of my favorite new characters that they introduced in the MCU. And she was definitely the heart of this movie. And it made me wish, and this is a small criticism, but it made me wish, because this movie was really about, again, spoilers, but she was grieving like the loss of her sister. She felt depressed and everything like that. I wish that we got to see more time with her and Natasha and a buildup of that. So just like the characters mourning, we're also mourning that relationship, because we only really saw it just the one time. So yeah, we're still mourning Natasha because we got to see her in multiple movies, but we're not necessarily mourning the relationship between Yelena and Natasha. But I still felt it, but I wish I got to feel it more. So that's one small criticism. But I like the action sequence, like the moment Bucky showed up on the motorcycle, like it felt very Terminator-esque. Like you see it right there, like it felt like the Terminator, and I really enjoyed it. And I love Bob. I want to see more Bob. And I thought Louis Pullman did a really good job. And so and then funny enough, like as I was watching this movie, I was like, is this a prequel or connected movie to the Kingdom Hearts universe? I don't know if you guys ever played Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah.
But when Bob turns into the void, he looks like a Heartless.
Yeah.
Same eyes and everything. So I'm just like, the way they could have solved this movie was calling Sora, and it's Disney. Disney
you can't cross-pollinate, man. Nah, man. I know it's Disney.
That's the whole point of Kingdom Hearts.
That's the whole point, yeah.
You may as well find the one ring to rule them all, you know, to keep anything from happening. Like, come on, man. Like,
it's not the same thing. It's literally Disney. It's literally Disney.
Yeah, fair.
Keyblade.
Okay.
Yeah, the Keyblade.
To go back to my other part, because like I mentioned, I have two minds of it. Like, as a movie in and of itself, I really enjoyed it. It's one of the best Marvel movies since Guardians 3. Because Guardians 3 I really enjoyed. But in terms of like a universe crafting of it, I have big problems with the framing of the movie, because it almost feels like this movie should have happened in phase 4, because in many ways it feels like they're building up the universe again after Endgame. Like we're just getting this cast of new Avengers. Then they reference in the post-credit scene that Sam Wilson is setting his Avengers. But when are we going to get a conclusion or a storyline development of that? Because after this movie, it's Fantastic Four, and then we're not getting another movie until Doomsday. So, like, what are we doing? Like, it feels like the universe is just starting, but it's really coming towards the end. Like, we're coming towards the conclusion of phases 5 and 6. But, like, it doesn't feel like Infinity War and Endgame in the sense that like we're now toning down and coming to a conclusion of the universe. Like, why are we still introducing new characters and new concepts? We still haven't seen Shang-Chi. We still haven't seen the conclusion to the Shang-Chi post-credit scene. Kate Bishop is nosy as hell. All that shit happening in New York. You don't think she would pull up? Same thing with Spider-Man. Daredevil, Kingpin is the mayor of New York right now. What the hell is going on with him? And Daredevil, etc. Like, I just feel like we shouldn't be still building up the, like, there's still so much story to tell with the way this movie ended. But yet, like I said, it's Fantastic Four and then it's Doomsday. And then after Doomsday, it's Spider-Man Brave New World, and then it's Secret Wars. Where the fuck is Doctor Strange? Like, we saw the post-credit scene with the incursions, dealing with that. Like, what? It's just a lot. So when you think about it from that standpoint, it's like, it's kind of it's flawed. Not the movie, but the crafting of the MCU and the universe and what they're trying to tell with this movie. It's like it's flawed. It's very flawed.
Michael, you don't think that if they brought in Spider-Man, Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, you don't think that they start losing like the Thunderbolts? Like, you're gonna water down.
Don't even have them be a full cameo. Show them on a TV screen somewhere, like a news prompter or something, like showing that they're out there saving people. So then we won't have this. Where's Spider-Man? Where's, at least show like.
Okay, I see.
And it doesn't even, you don't even have to cast him, because people are like, oh well, if you cast Tom, you got to pay him a whole bunch of money. Don't cast. Just show Spider-Man or show like a silhouette, a web or whatever. Like,
okay. Or right. To your point, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you guys off. To your point, though, I mean, Mayor Fisk right now is like all anti-vigilante. So, I mean, showing him on the television, like, we need to end the vigilantes in New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like, him showing Spider-Man and, you know what I'm saying, like, continuing on with, you know, all the different, you know, like Punisher and just, you know what I'm saying, like, that would actually be smart, like, to Michael's credit, because it's not a full cameo, but it's at least, like, it's out of our mind now. We're like, oh, hey, we know that they're in the city with, you know what I'm saying, with Kingpin and fucking Spider-Man and shit. And Daredevil's around.
A news broadcast or something, like him on this, do it like, see, this is the shit I was talking about. Look at this fucking this motherfucker Boyd taking shit out. Like, this is why I'm doing the anti-vigilante for Vanessa. Like,
or Jameson. Yeah, or Jameson. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, comic geek, hey, how Kingpin said it? How he said it?
For Vanessa.
This is exactly why.
When I was a boy.
My father wasn't a very nice man. Yeah, I can see that, man. All right, well, Ant, what say you, homeboy? Excuse me, Ty. What say you, homeboy? You had an opportunity to see it as well, and I'm sure you have an opinion. What are you in agreement with, Ant? Are you in agreement with? I don't even know what to call you no more. Michael Black Geek.
Michael. My first name is Michael.
Anyway. Michael.
Yeah.
Michael.
Is that hard?
It's
Michael. Okay, that's better. All right, I got it. Go ahead, Ty.
I mean, I don't know if there's much I can add. They pretty much, you know, summed up a lot of the same issues that I had. I definitely think that the Taskmaster killing was premature. It was a misusage of the character. And I, you know, I'm not a huge Taskmaster fan, but I feel like Taskmaster is a legitimate foe, and just a bullet. If a bullet to the head was gonna be the way that a person could go, like I feel like a lot of these superheroes, their shelf life would have been a lot less than, it just seemed rather peculiar that one would die so easily. But anyway, I also, one of my biggest problems with Marvel, and continues to be my biggest problem with Marvel, is Marvel's lack of commitment to villainy. They're like, whenever it comes to so-called villains that we have as the opposition in these movies, it's always like an anti-villain. It's like you know what I mean. It's never that full. It's I'm doing this for to save the world, or save I'm doing this because I want to make it a better place. It's always that. I just want a villain that's coming through fucking up shit because they like fucking up shit. Like I don't want them to have no backstory of I'm dealing with mental issues or any of it. I want a villain that came through to fuck shit up because that's what villains do. And every time I see a villain that has all of these issues, all of this stuff like this, Sentry, as much as I love that character in the comic book, I did not like this character in the movie. Why? Because I looking at Sentry.
Yo, why I only hear every other time? Is it just me?
No, I can't.
No, he just
audio's
started
going in. Your audio's going in and out.
Yeah, I was hearing like every other word as if.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks.
Hey, I heard you clear now, man.
It wasn't for the majority of it.
It wasn't
just
everything. Just the last couple sentences, like when you was going in the Sentry. So just start at Sentry and go.
And go. So with Sentry in the movie, as I'm watching this movie, I don't know if you guys remember, because I'm a little older, but there was a movie called Superman 4. In that movie, the antagonist was one nuclear man.
Yeah.
And when you look at, if you ever watch that movie and then you see this movie, Thunderbolts, and you look at the Sentry, he is a bona fide nuclear man. Like, and I like down to the costume, down to the colors that he garbs, everything. Like down to the powers. Like the nuclear man's power was based on the sun. It was literally the same type of power. But I feel like with Sentry would have been better in an Avengers movie. Why? Because you can't really garner the level of power that Sentry has against mere mortals. Like it doesn't equate. It's like it's for Sentry, you would need the Hulk to come punch him with full might to actually see how strong this man is. And I feel like there was an opportunity here to really, really show Sentry's power, like really, really go. And then they use this whole void idea, which in the comic books, I get it. The void is a thing that he kind of grabs his power from whenever he changes and everything like that. But I just, for me, as I'm watching the movie and I'm waiting for the big culmination, I was just disappointed that it went that way. I was like, this is an opportunity, because I think if you remember, there was a point where what is Marie Dreyfus's character? What is Valentina. So at one point she says, call the Hulk and tell him, you know what I'm saying, like it's all go, like a kill order. She gave him a kill order or some shit. So I'm sitting here like, oh shit, we about to see the Hulk. No, we're not about to see the Hulk. That's not happening.
No, she said his name was Holt, the guy that set up the military.
Oh, that's what she was talking about, Holt?
She said call Holt, Holt.
Oh, wow. So there I go. See, that's probably why I was so disappointed. You know what I'm saying? You're calling more humans to deal with this problem. This is not a good look. But I just from that standpoint, when I for me, because I'm always disappointed with Marvel movies and the way that they depict villains. I just wanted more, man. Sentry is so powerful. Like, this is the bona fide Superman of the Marvel universe. And to put this team up against him, and all you had to do was just talk him off a ledge. Like that. It's giving me. I'm like, you mean to tell me Yelena's voice, is so calming that it would make a man who's hell bent on destroying everything stop? Nah, it's just, and that's my one gripe about Marvel movies and about this movie in particular is the non-commitment to true villainry. I need that villain. I'm still waiting for that villain that comes through and has no reason. They're like, why are you doing this? Because I can. I just want that guy. Where's that guy at? Because I can. I just want to go. I'm doing it because you can't stop me. I need a bully. I need a real bully. Like,
what's up? What is it with New Jersey niggas always needing a bully? why does everybody have to be a fucking bully? Like, why can't just be a guy who's nice who happens to have a void that he kills people with? And,
I feel not so much with Sentry, but I do feel like they do try to alphabetize a lot of their villains, like make them all
alphabet.
Yeah, like they try to make them all like them all like wicked. Like, oh, the Wicked Witch isn't actually evil. Like, or like Thanos isn't actually. He really wants to save the world, or save the universe, but it's marred in such and such. Like that really, all of that started because of Wicked and Elphaba, like the musical.
Oh, Michael, come on, we can't let you do that, brother. It did not start because of Wicked. Okay, let's keep it real. Like this.
I don't mean the Wicked movie. I mean when Wicked, the book, when it first came out, and it became popular.
Which was when?
And like when did Wicked come out? In like the 90s?
Okay, because I remember a character by the name of Anakin Skywalker who was casted to us as a villain for 3 straight movies, and then we got 3 more movies where we learned that maybe he wasn't so bad. So I mean, the concept of villains not necessarily always being what they were portrayed as originally isn't an original concept. But I do want to say, first of all, Ty, if you think we're gonna let you get away with talk about Superman 4 and the fact that Sunman took his girl to the moon. he flew his girl to the moon where there's no gravity, no oxygen, no like air conditioning, and he just flew into the moon. And him and Superman were fighting on the moon while the girlfriend was standing there on their side on the moon. I'm gonna let you just bring that up. Like that made the movie fucked up. Like even me as a child, I'm like, wait a minute. Are you gonna fly this lady into outer space, sir? No spacesuit, not even a jacket, a scarf. Can she at least get some pantyhose or some socks? She's on the moon in a pantsuit. Am I the only one who remembers?
No, I remember. I never said it was a good movie. I didn't say. What I said was you might not remember Superman 4, but the villain in the movie was Nuclear Man.
I do remember the villain. I was like, oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah. Look, down to like it's so like if you put them side by side, it is so uncanny. Nuclear Man had blonde hair, deep blonde hair. It is the same exact thing with Sentry. Their colors on their actual costumes are exactly the same color. It is so uncanny. It is very. You're like, come on, man. So I get it, and I just wanted to address something in the comment section because our comment section is
maybe Sentry was inspired by Nuclear Man.
He probably was. I wouldn't doubt it.
I don't know, but because I mean, Sentry, he was created like 2000, so
it would make a lot of sense because Marvel. We know how Come on, Wonder Man, Wonder Woman. I mean, come on, let's not go down the whole Captain Marvel. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. All right, and how originally Captain Marvel was a DC, which makes no sense. And I know it wasn't with DC; it was with another. Anyway, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Continue.
All right. So this is the comment that I wanted to address by Fernando. You said Thanos and Killmonger are the only real villains in the MCU, and I would 100%. I would 100% disagree with that, and this is why I have such a problem with Marvel. Remember, Thanos' whole reasoning for collecting the stones was so that he could basically kill off a percentage of the world so that things could be better in his eyes.
Yep.
And the same thing with Killmonger. Killmonger's whole thing was he didn't like how black people in America was being treated.
Yep.
There's these reasons that you can kind of feel. You can feel with somebody. You can be like, well, I don't know, is he really mad? I don't want that. What I want is a clear, uncut villain. You know who we can all agree was a real villain, and there was no room for, and I'll say this 100%, my number one villain of all time is who, Yaz?
Ultron! Fucking Ultron! Just saying.
No, that wasn't. My all-time villain. I've said this before, so I figured you remember. But Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Is an all-time villain. This motherfucker wasn't shit, and we all hated him. There was not one person that was out here like, Joffrey's not such a bad guy. No, we all hated him. When Joffrey died, we rejoiced. We celebrated. We shot fireworks. We were outside like we had been outside all year. We were like, yo, that comes. Yo, we was ready. We was all. So I need some of that Joffrey energy in the MCU. I need a villain that we can all agree we hate him. And there's nothing about him that we like. We hate him. And I need that. I need Marvel to stop thinking everything is a goddamn joke, because shit ain't funny. Shit ain't funny no more. I need a villain, a real villain that's out here killing unconditionally, unremorsefully. He's just out here just killing babies, ladies, anybody who get in their way. Look, there was a moment when that little girl was about to get crushed, and I was excited. I know. It sounds crazy. But when they start killing kids, I'm like, oh shit, we done got there. We there. We're there.
Right. Yeah.
And
you're right.
And that's the one real gripe that I have about Thunderbolts, have about Marvel as a whole, is they're not willing to kill kids. I feel like as soon as you start to kill the babies, we're there. I know it sounds strange. It sounds crazy. Yeah. I think. Listen. I am going top tier villainy. I'm not. Listen, we're not. When you go top tier villainy, Joffrey never cared who he killed. He didn't care. Anybody could get it. And that's when you're at top tier villainy, when there is no differential between a child, a woman, or a man. You're killing everything that opposes you, period. Homelander is another one that almost is there, but then you start to see they show you these things that you're like, oh, he was made this way because they treated him so poorly. They locked him in a room, and then you start getting in your feelings. Well, anybody would be like that. I don't want that. I don't need that. I need you to hate this person to the core of your being, so that when he or she meets their demise, there is no wavering. You're like, oh, I'm so happy they killed him. Yes.
But also to be fair to that point though, which I feel you, like the Joffrey and all that other stuff, like I want that too. But also like part of me kind of gets why they don't do that, because audiences are stupid. To put it blunt. So like bringing up two examples, like you bring up Joffrey and then somebody else brought up Homelander. Look at the reaction that people give to those two characters. There's a reason that the actor that plays Joffrey, part of the reason he quit acting is because of his portrayal of Joffrey, he was getting like death threats and people saying stuff about it's like, he's a fucking actor. Like Joffrey isn't real. It's a character. Or you look at people like celebrating Homelander and saying Homelander is a hero and all this other stuff. Or even like you watch You on Netflix. Part of the reason Penn Badgley didn't want to do the show anymore because people were rooting for his character, and it's like, no, this guy is a fucking villain.
Yeah.
Right.
Or we're going to talk about The Last of Us later on. Like whenever spoilers for that, you know, just because I'm gonna bring this part up, but we are going to talk about it. But like when the video game came out and Abby killed Joel, the voice actors were getting death threats.
Woo!
So like when you get people that portray like these villains or good cat, a lot of times like people are stupid. So in some ways, these movie companies like tend to hold the audience's hand because for whatever reason, critical thinking skills are in the fucking toilet. Like when I review movies and talk about things all the time and concepts and all that other stuff, like how many people like I'll mention something. I can't think of an example, but I'll mention something. People are like, well, actually, that's not what I fucking said. Like if you actually listen to what I said, you would actually know what I'm actually talking. Or pick up a book. Like if I bring up Sinners and talk about the connection of blue. Oh, actually, perfect example. I was talking about Sinners, and I mentioned how the character of Remick, I thought it was perfectly sound that Ryan Coogler cast Remick as an Irishman. And when you think about the Irish people and Black people, we had a lot of camaraderie. Like the term mulatto came about because Black people and Irish people were intermingling and having sex and creating partnerships and relationships a lot. And so the child of a Black person and an Irish person was called a mulatto. But then when Irish people started to delve into whiteness, they started to became white, because originally they weren't white. They were called white niggers or Negroes turned inside out. But so I mentioned that in my review, and somebody's like, how dare you say Irish people were never white? Irish people were always white. No, the fuck they weren't. Whiteness is a concept, and Irish, Hungarian, Polish, all of that stuff, they weren't accepted.
Italian.
Like, so like people are just dumb. Like a book would easily tell you that. So like, I feel you in terms of like wanting to get an actual villain, but like sometimes when you do get that, audiences react in a way that's like, come on, like.
So I got the solution for that. The solution,
not real.
The solution for that, Black gay. The solution for that is Michael. You make them digital. Like Thanos ain't had no problems finding a job since he snapped his fingers. Josh Brolin has been just fine. But Josh Brolin had the privilege of not actually being on. Exactly. I was just fucking with you. Go ahead, Ty.
I was just gonna say this. Michael, you're right that people are dumb, but people are dumb regardless of what you do or don't do. Like that's so when you have a young lady like the girl that just did Snow White also getting death threats, and she's not a villain. She just played a character as well. There are always going to be people that dislike things and have problems with things. But if you are moving in a way that is dependent on the reaction of the audience, then we'll never get real good writing of villains. And I feel like Joffrey may have gotten death threats, but at last I checked, he's still breathing and walking around. A lot of those people that.
But now he works at Wawa, and he has no future in the world of acting, because people haven't been able to disassociate the character that he played with who he is in real life. I think that's the point Michael was making. But
no. I know the point that he's making. I'm just saying that when it comes down to your mental health, and I think that has a lot to do with why Joffrey is not working. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that people can't disassociate. The man killed that role. So from an acting standpoint, he did his damn thing. I just think that maybe, it had such a significant effect on him mentally that maybe he's not in that space. And that's cool. That's fine. I get it. But when it comes down to it, what I'm saying is that there has to be a clear somebody in the room that says, let us go a little bit further than we did the last time. Let us, like, each time, take an inch closer to the villainry aspect, to the point where you finally get to a Galactus who is a being from another world who kills everything and destroys everything and has no problem. And then you get to villains like what's his Null from the Venom
Venom 3.
series,
Yeah.
yeah, from Venom, and who is also supposed to be evil incarnate.
Well, we gonna find out Galactus was abused by his father. His mother left him as a kid.
I hope to God not.
When they was on his planet, they didn't feed him as a child, and so when he became a cosmic entity, that's why he's eating planets, because it reminds him of that he didn't get when he was a kid. That's what we're gonna get with Galactus.
Yo, for 38 cents today, you could have failed Galactus like a long time ago. But yeah, points are taken, Ty. Points are taken. But let me give my little spill. Since somebody did ask me what my thoughts were. I'm somewhere between the two of y'all. I do agree with you about Taskmaster, although I did voice my opinions before about how I thought Taskmaster was already kind of pitched. It's kind of weird, you know what I mean? Like as a Spider-Man villain, essentially, to see Taskmaster so prominent in this new development of an Avengers thing is kind of weird. Even though I know he's not a villain, he's just a guy who can mimic everything or whatever, or a person, excuse me, rather. Yeah. But I agree with you that moment could have been used as a catalyst, kind of the way that we were hoping that Ant-Man would have been a catalyst to launch off Phase 5, with him either being stuck in the quantum zone or possibly being heavily injured, or even better, more than likely, just deceased. But yeah, as a result, you don't walk away from the movie feeling like, oh, what's going to happen next, with the exception of the fact that they had the little press conference at the end, which frankly was a little of an eye roll situation for me, because it was like, all right, the Avengers are not Marvel. Please, I know y'all had a lot of success with Avengers, but do we have to tie everything to Avengers just because of the success of Avengers? Black Panther had a lot of success too. Okay, so it's not necessary. For me, it just gives, we're going to go back to the bowl that fed us type of thing. So I'm not necessarily a huge fan, but I get it. Now, as far as the villain thing goes, I've got to say I'm not fully on board with this. I do believe that Ty is right. It is nice to have a completely relentless villain from time to time, but that can't be the case every single time. You can't have every villain is just a world dominant, just completely hell bent on killing every baby. Everybody's not King Herod. You know what I'm saying? Like you just gotta kind of. I think that the diversity of the backgrounds and the origin stories of the villains is fascinating. In this particular movie, no, it was more Eternals, where the villain comes from inside the house. So yeah, I didn't, that wasn't this. But I think that what they were doing, which I think they did successfully, was make a bridge movie. This movie wasn't meant to be one that knocked you off of your seat and made you be like, holy shit. It was one that was meant to be like, I want more. That was all the purpose of this movie was for. It wasn't supposed to be a monumental, groundbreaking, award-winning movie. It was a movie that was supposed to revive the life and the appetite of those that do enjoy these type of Marvel movies, because they hit every cue, right? Humor, had the subtle jabs every now and then. You got your action sequences, you got your twists, right? So it was everything that a Marvel. In fact, in some instances, I thought it was too funny. I mean, and I don't mean like funny as in humorous. I mean, I was like, all right, does this have to be a joke? It was like the addition of Valentina as a humorous kind of what's the old girl from Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller, like a humorless white Amanda Waller. It's not working for me. I mean, I almost at some point in time are waiting for her to start dancing and do the Elaine, dance. But it's not doing this thing for me. So the movie was good. I liked it. It wasn't great. In fact, if you missed the opening of this movie, don't fret. It'll be just as good on Netflix, Disney Plus. I'm not saying, I don't care. Black movie. Just do what you want. I don't care. But I did like the focus on Florence. I did like the focus on Red Guardian. I did like that they made sure that U.S. agent was still an asshole and that they didn't let that go. But yeah, the notion of Taskmaster being written off, even though I wasn't a fan of the way that she was depicted, I think you're right. I agree. You guys have sold me. That was a moment that could have been made into a movie, a monumental movie moment. In other words, I think that if I'm hearing y'all correctly, y'all would have preferred to have seen like Taskmaster maybe be a part of the movie, and then maybe get sucked into the void or killed in a manner that maybe begged for vengeance or for there to be some sort of consequential action taken as a result. In this particular instance, it's almost like they just didn't want to pay her for any more days on set. They was just like, yeah, Pop, we don't really need all that. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I agree.
For me personally, I honestly didn't care about the Taskmaster thing. Like, because like I didn't care about Taskmaster and Black Widow. Like, I didn't like not the Taskmaster character in and of itself. I like the but that's not my hashtag, not my Taskmaster. But and it's not even because it's a woman. Oh, she Taskmaster or whatever. Antonia instead of Anthony. No, that has nothing to do with it. It's just the way they portrayed Taskmaster.
Right.
I didn't care. Like, well, so when she got shot, but then also from a story perspective, I think them killing Taskmaster goes to show like these people are not good people. Like they're murderers, and they're willing to like they were about to take each other out. Like that's how the whole thing started. They were trying to kill each other before they actually started working together. And so showing one of them die because they were given an order, like. Not raise the stakes in terms of like the story, like, oh, somebody else might die, but I feel like it raised the stakes in terms of like their character, like showing that they are willing to turn and potentially kill each other if given an order. And so showing them eventually work together, it kind of shows the change within them, because just 2 seconds ago you just tried to kill, or you just killed somebody else that could have been part of your team.
But we've seen all of them kill people before. Like every single one of them has done villainry in their previous appearances. Like every single one of them. Like John Walker killed a man in broad daylight in the middle of the street with Captain America's shield. Like we knew he was a villain, and the movie didn't commit to being that dangerous. Like Ty mentioned earlier, like some little white girl, I think they had this moment where the Void came out, started dusting people Thanos style, and then they undid it. The movie refuses to commit to like consequence at any point throughout the movie. Like I thought the Void was going to be a big level threat. He took out like all of Manhattan. He was so powerful. So many people were getting hurt. I don't know about you, but when that little girl got dusted, I kind of cheered. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know Marvel had it in them. Like I was like, oh, we playing now. We really like they're really making the Void a credible threat. But then to pull all of that back, and the only person who got murked in this whole movie was Taskmaster at the beginning of the movie, and it didn't even feel like it served the story in a way that was new to give us new information or do something different. I don't know. I didn't really believe that this was the thing that made them feel dangerous, especially because they weren't committing to danger throughout the whole movie.
You know what? Let me say this. I think I would have probably been a little bit more. The way that they dismissed Taskmaster was a little like, oh, was she a good person? Yes, she was a good person. Yes, and then bam, like that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's somebody who had already survived like an explosion. Didn't she? Like in the whole entire Black Widow movie, like we learned about all of the stuff that Taskmaster had been through, and now she is just gone. Like, sad story, but it kind of shows she kind of sucks as a superhero too, because god dang, like anybody else had that problem. I mean, but anyway, I'll take that part back. But at the end of the day, they did what they did. I wanted to ask Michael about Sentry as a comic book, as an avid reader. Give us your thoughts on the depiction of Sentry and how it compares to the comics. You know, and let's also not forget that this role was originally if I'm not mistaken, thrown at old boy that plays Glenn.
Supposed to go to Stephen Yeun, yeah.
Stephen Yeun was originally supposed to be Sentry, and for whatever reason that was turned down. So that happened.
It was because of the strike, and so it delayed production, and he was already scheduled to do Mickey 17, and so it ran into each other.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if he's gonna regret that, because Sentry's gonna be a part of.
But I'm actually glad it's not Stephen Yeun, especially with the costume, the yellow, him being a superhero. I'm like, he's just a live action Invincible.
Yeah, but don't you want to see that though? Don't you kind of like low key? Isn't that's the parallel, right? We're like, oh shit, it's Grayson. You know,
Me, no, I like Lewis Pullman. I liked him as
okay.
Sentry. And then to answer only Morale's question, no, Sentry isn't a mutant. And it's spelled Sentry, not like the century, but like a road, like a century. Sentry. But as far as like, I mean, it's virtually pretty much, for the most part, they didn't really change anything. Him being a drug addict, getting this. The only thing they really changed is like he got his powers from like Valentina and an experimentation, and adding the Valentina angle of it, and then also changing the Void into like a mental depression thing instead of it connecting to Null, the creator of the symbiotes. That's really the only thing that they mostly changed. But other than that, it's pretty much he's mostly pretty much still the same Sentry.
Okay, so the power element, the way that he is able to void people, the way that he's able to fly,
that's what I was saying. Like the change, the way they did the Void, like you can't send somebody into like a mental depression. Like the Void is like an entity that connects to like the dark dimension and Null and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So it has nothing to do with his like depression. It's like an entirely different, like just dark entity. So that's different. But for the most part, his origins and everything like that is virtually more or less kind of the same. So I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't necessarily have a problem with like the depiction of Sentry. Like it was.
All right. Well, what about the Thunderbolts origin story? I've read some Thunderbolts comics.
I've never read any Thunderbolts.
Okay, now I've read some Thunderbolts comics.
Thunderbolts,
and there's some. I mean, first of all, Baron Zemo is extremely prominent in the Thunderbolts organization, and also the whole concept of Yelena calling the Thunderbolts because of some team is not how. Thunderbolt Ross. They were named after Thunderbolt Ross.
They were named after Ross, but they couldn't do that because Ross is.
They could still do it. They literally just had the movie this year. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be a part. It could be a. I mean, I'm not trying to say they should have done it. It's not a big deal. If you're a reader, then maybe you'll notice it. But it just felt like a weird thing to like.
I thought the thing that would have made sense is after I can't think of the actor's name, but after he unfortunately passed away, the person that played that is
William Hurt.
William Hurt. Okay. William Hurt. So after he passed away, I thought it would have been smarter to not recast his character, and then if they were going to do the Thunderbolts, they would have just named it in honor of him, in honor of his character. Like I thought that would have been a smart way.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I mean because it's an unnecessary. I mean when I saw that they did that, Michael, I was like, okay, what was the purpose of changing the origin story of the name, if not just to add heart to the group? Like to now,
I feel like that's why they did that Thunderbolt asterisk.
Yeah. Oh, a new Avengers. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, all right, well, we're not some group that was put together by some some dominant, government entity. It's like, no, we're named after a Little League team. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, well, it's an unnecessary modification of source material, but it is what it is, and we are where we are. I do have to say,
let me say this real quick. Last thing that in terms of like a criticism, I wish that when they did actually go into the Void, in terms of like building up these characters, because we got a lot of Yelena, we are of course we know Bucky, we got some Red Guardian, but I wish we got to see everybody's journey through the Void, not just Yelena and not just Bob. Like I feel like they could have added maybe another 15 minutes, or even took away some of that elevator scene to show like, because what is Ghost been up to? What's her trauma? Granted, they do a lot of like, we know about Bucky and we've seen his story with like Winter Soldier and everything like that, but we really don't know everything that he's had to do as the Winter Soldier. And so like I feel like this movie did a lot of telling and not showing. Like even Bucky's like, yeah, I had a great past, show me. Same thing with Red Guardian. What's his trauma? Like I feel like that would have allowed us to become a little bit more closer, a lot more closer to these characters if we got to see what they have to overcome to essentially become the new Avengers, quote unquote. But like that moment that they showed up in Bob's room, just easily, that was the one moment that I like rolled my eyes. I was like, oh, that was convenient. Like they just happened to show up at the right time, but we never got to see what they had to go through to get to get there. So I wish. So that's another like big criticism of mine that I wish. Like I said, they could have just added a good just 15 more minutes or whatever to the movie to show that.
I have a feeling that they're listening and that you'll see a Red Guardian 6-episode short series on Disney Plus sometime.
I doubt it. They're toning down on the Disney Plus. They haven't even promoted Iron. They haven't even promoted Ironheart. That comes out in a month.
We'll talk about that. We definitely gonna talk about how they're doing Riri Williams. But let me end the Thunderbolts discussion on a high note. One thing that can't nobody deny is that fight scene where Sentry actually came, where he came down the steps, and the motherfucker, yo, did you see all that? Did you see all that shit he did? Like where he was just like, he was getting shot in the face and shit. He's like, and then he like took somebody and kicked him and caught him. Did you see that? He kicked him up in the air and they caught him. Nothing. Tough crowd. Like,
I spoke on this. That's why I was like, yeah, that's cool when you're doing it to like regular human beings.
Yeah, they're humans.
Yeah, like to do that. No, but
I want to see him do that against Captain Marvel.
Do it against Thor. Do it against Thor. Do it against the Hulk. My point is, Sentry is so powerful within the comic books and should be in the MCU that all of that made sense. It made sense that they look like children trying to fight a grown man. And so when I saw all of that, it wasn't that impressive. I'm like, you got to remember who the core the group is. The group is Yelena. The group is Winter Soldier. The group is Walker. U.S. Agent. The group is Ghost. These are all people that can be killed with a bullet. This is all people that dead, just like they did with Taskmaster. So my whole thing is, when it comes to why they did Thunderbolts the way they did and why they chose to use it literally, is my same qualm with Marvel. It's more comedy focused than it is like the real elements that I want to see. Like comic books comic books have always had their comedic aspect to them, but they've also been about that killing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like most comic books, people getting fucked up in the comic. So this idea that Marvel has to, and when you said, you don't agree with the fact that all villains have to be this villainry, like this extra. That's my point, brother. Is we don't where do we have the examples of what I'm talking about as opposed to the examples you're talking about? There's plenty of examples of what you're talking about. There's not any of what I'm talking about. And that's my point. You can't say they're doing it all the time when they never do it. That's my point.
Right, so in X-Men Apocalypse, one of the very worst X-Men movies that has come out, Apocalypse was hell-bent with no origin story, with no remorse on apocalyptic shit. And just because he was a badass that didn't have no feelings and didn't really, he came from Egypt and came through all these different, but it didn't make the movie no better. The villain being a villain asshole did not make him better. I'm saying a good movie because of an asshole villain does not make a good movie. You know what I'm saying? I think a complex story sometimes can pan out, but it's also nice to have that maniacal Joker-esque, I just want to see the city burn ass motherfucker. What I don't want to happen is all villains end up being monolithically just bad. I like the complexity of a kingpin who's got to deal with the cheating ass wife, but also wants to be the mayor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that shit. That wasn't
the MCU, Vince. That wasn't the MCU. What you talking about? That X-Men movie?
Technically,
the X-Men movie?
No. Okay, I was talking about Daredevil.
No, you just was talking about Apocalypse.
No, when I was talking about Kingpin, we said that wasn't MCU. That came after my comments about Kingpin, and I thought you were referring to the Kingpin comments, but you was referring to the Apocalypse.
And I can't even be talking about Kingpin because Kingpin has all of these traumatic issues as well, daddy issues, and all of the kind of stuff that makes you, it makes you feel for him. I'm talking about a
You want a ruthless, bro? I know. You want.
I don't want to feel. I want to hate him. I want everybody to.
Do you feel for Kingpin though? Like he's still a villain.
Oh no, he's a villain. But do I also see moments where he's like tender and like loving? Yeah, he loves the hell out of his lady. He'll kill anybody.
That's all villains though. There's moments where the Joker is tender with Harley Quinn, but then he'll stop right after that.
Yeah, Thanos loved Lady Death. All right. Even your boy Joffrey had a thing for Sansa. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not always just.
No. He didn't have no thing for Sansa.
Yeah.
See, this is my point. You're tripping. Yo, listen. There was a reason.
He had her dad in the hall, put his head on the pike, and then brought her to
him. He didn't know how to deal with it. He Vincent Van Gogh. He tried to cut the hair off instead of bringing flowers. Yeah, he's a dumbass. He wouldn't return to the Mac.
He tormented that little girl.
Yeah, he tormented her. Yeah, you lost him.
It's like when you were in kindergarten, you hit the girl you like.
Why do you think the creepy Uncle Dew was trying to get her out of there? Because he was tormenting the fuck out of her. Not only was he, like having his way with her, he was also tormenting the fuck out of her. Like, so that's why they were trying to get her out of there, because she was his plaything until he didn't want her anymore. And then when he didn't want her anymore, she was disposable, just like her daddy.
When I say Joffrey was written as the ultimate villain, there is that, like I say again, and everybody in the comments, everybody on this panel can agree or not agree. But when Joffrey died, there was a cry that was let out from the mountains of from the tip top of the mountains. The king is dead. You know what I'm saying? The king is dead. The king is dead. That and even with Ramsey, you could even add him into that, because he was definitely a real piece of work. But Joffrey, like I said, like when it comes to writing villainry, even when you with like us having this conversation about you thinking that he actually had feelings for Sansa, like that's great. That's great writing. That is great writing. I just want to see somebody else take that step, because I know who will do it, and it won't be Marvel, but DC. DC will do it. Yeah. DC will do it. I don't know who's going to be, who they're going to.
I mean, Darkseid, right?
It could be Joker. I don't know.
I mean, they're already kind of doing it with Creature Commandos. Like Frankenstein is terrible. Like, Frankenstein is terrible.
Yeah.
Not just Frankenstein, but all the Creature Commandos virtually.
Yes.
Okay, so you know who's another, like, Vince? I mean, Bad Tie, to your like ultimate villain. Okay, so have you ever seen that movie I Care a Lot on Netflix?
No.
Okay, so please do yourself a favor this afternoon and go watch that movie, because the head actress in that movie is the head actress in The Wheel of Time. It's Rosamund Pike. I don't know if I said her name correctly, but I'm telling you, she is a god. Damn, I just couldn't fucking stand this bitch. And I swear, everyone who has seen that fucking movie will understand the feelings behind this, because she's a fucking villain you could absolutely love to fucking hate. Like when, I'm not going to tell you the ending, but some shit happens and you're like, fuck yes! That's all I'm going to say about that. But go and watch.
I feel like you just told us. I feel like she just told us what happened.
Yeah, you told. Yeah,
no, I did not. I did not. I just said some shit happens, and you're just like, fuck yes. You know what I'm saying? So just watch it. Okay, full circle. It's fucking beautiful. The writing is great. She is outstanding in this movie. Like God, every time I see her, I'm like, oh God. I get that feeling of watching her in this movie, and I'm like, this fucking bitch, I swear to God, if she was around, my fucking I'd kill this bitch. So watch this, because that is a villain you will respect and love, and she'll be on your Joffrey list, because I swear to God, I can't look at her the same way.
That's kind of how I felt with Joffrey though. Like, he was such a villain. I was actually disappointed when he died. Not because he died, but I was disappointed in how he died.
Yes, the way he died.
Yeah, because I was just like, poison. I was like, that's too quick. That nigga need to suffer. Like, he need to be tortured. Wow. Cut his fingers off one by one, like one ball at a time. Like,
If he would have went out, like what you call it, your boy from The Last of Us, if he would have went out like him in Games of Thrones,
like
if
Joel?
Joffrey would have went out that way, that would have been like chef's
Wait, who are you
kiss
talking
for
about?
me.
Which one you talking about?
Joel. You talking about Joel? I think.
Joel, okay, so remember when he
Joel.
was fighting the Mountain's brother? Remember he was fighting the Hound?
Yeah,
the Mountain.
yeah.
He was fighting the Mountain.
That was the Mountain.
Oh,
He was like, dancing around and doing his thing, and he was like kicking his ass, and all of a sudden he like tripped that motherfucker, and then stuck his eyeballs and crushed his fucking skull. And it was beautiful.
I was like, quick. It's too quick.
Pedro was all in that ass though. Remember, boy, Pedro had the swords, boy. He was going back. He was doing all that Karate Kid shit, man.
No,
he
was fucking getting it. No lie, he got fucking murdered. Like, damn. So if Joffrey would have gone that way, I would have been happier because the poison, I do feel. I'm not gonna lie, the plot was like beautiful. Who finally like when we found out who killed him, but I'm just saying though. Look, he would have went out that way. I would have been like even more happy.
We've been talking for an hour. Only Morale's complaining because we ain't talking about the post-credit scene yet. I mean, I feel like I kind of talked about the post-credit scene in my original initial thoughts, where I was just like, it feels like we're just building up to a universe, and I feel like we should have did this in Phase 4. Like we should already have this new team of new Avengers. Sam Wilson setting up his Avengers. We should have like them people trying to set up a West Coast Avengers. Kamala Khan and Miss Marvel trying to set up a Young Avengers. Like we should have all these Avengers teams already set up. So then when we go into Doomsday, it does feel like a culmination into the universe. Like the fact that Fantastic Four is showing up, it's like, okay, we already knew that because it's the next movie. So it's like not much to really say about the post-credit scene, because like I'm hyped, but like I already knew the Fantastic Four were coming, and it's not a foregone conclusion to be like, oh, they're gonna end up in our universe, like obviously, right? But like I feel like this should have been a Phase 4 movie because it feels like they're still doing a lot of building when we should be toning or ramping down. Because like I said, after this movie, it's Fantastic Four, and now we're not getting another movie until Doomsday.
Well, I think the significance, I haven't been in the comments often, but I'm assuming that Only Morale is talking about the fact that we just learned about the way that they're going to introduce the Fantastic Four, which it seems
in some ways it's kind of a sport. Now we know what's going to happen at the end of Fantastic Four. Spoiler.
Yeah. It's kind of they kind of gave away a little bit. So what I took away from it was that we're not. I mean, what we know now is that this is not a reboot of 616 Fantastic Four. This is a Fantastic Four coming from another multiverse that we're going to get, and that is also explaining how we get Dr. Doom, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So that last scene for the comic book readers and those who've been following along was indicative of the storyline being expanded from 616 and coming from all of these other, from another Earth or whatnot. But the ship was dope. The ship was dope, right? We like the ship. Okay, no, all right, just me. I'm a space guy.
The ship was cool.
I like the ship. The four on it.
I'm curious what these new Avengers are gonna be, because like, what can they do? Like, you're gonna fight somebody. Like, even like Yelena said, all we do is point and shoot. Like Dr. Doom is a sorcerer. Like, what do you?
Yeah. Well, I'm really.
Or even if there's a Thanos level threat, what are these? Like the new Avengers was Captain America, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Spider-Woman, Luke Cage.
Yep.
Like,
I'm interested to see how they can transition this, because the Young Avengers has also been floated. Patriot, and
even Young Avengers are more powerful than these new.
Like these are folks that can get shot. You know what I'm saying?
I want to know who's on Sam's team.
What time?
I want to know who's on Sam's team, because Sam has a team. They mentioned there's a whole nother Avengers team out there. Sam has a team. Who's on his team?
They said,
that's what I'm saying. That's my problem. Like all this stuff, like we're setting up this, and then there's a rivalry between Sam's team and Yelena and Bucky's team. But we haven't seen any of that, and we're not really. There's no time for us to really get that, because Doomsday is the next movie. So it's not like we're going to have like Captain America: Brave New World should have been him setting up his new team of Avengers.
Yeah,
that's not. Okay.
Like it seems as though, since we're not going to get the movies, that the TV series, whatever those are that are supposed to be dropping, are probably going to be the way that they bridge that.
You mean
So all of the build,
series?
yeah, because all of the build up in Daredevil is that he's also recruiting all of these superheroes, and you know what I'm saying, they're gonna go against. I mean, at least that's what it looks like the build up is gonna be for the next season. And then you have all of these other shit. You have Ironheart coming out. You have
White Tiger.
White Tiger. You have all of you have White Tiger. I didn't know there was
White Tiger.
Wasn't yeah? Didn't they like? Wasn't there was like some preview of like his niece taking over? Didn't I see some shit like where?
Oh
like,
nah, I think that was fan art.
That was fan art. Okay,
fan made. I think that was like some fan made. I think it was like fan made. But I basically what I'm saying is the series that come on Disney Plus will probably be the way that they bridge a lot of this stuff, because it does feel very jumbled and thrown together. It does fit that's why I didn't say anything about the post credit either of them, because neither of them really meant anything. I was like, okay, all right. So yeah, we know the next movie is Fantastic Four, so it makes sense. You're connecting that, but it felt very amateurish. It just like, come on, man, y'all can do better than this. Like, first of all, like, keep some shit to close to your breast. You ain't got to show everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's better to just like let it be like a oh shit moment for everybody. Like then the it's just what we thought was gonna happen, and then man. These used to be fun. These post credit scenes used to be fun, and now it's starting to get like.
I mean, for some people, they had that oh shit moment for the post credit. Like, I saw somebody was like, "Oh, make sure you stay for the post credit scene. It changes everything, does it?" Like, what
some people are very energetic for likes and views. I get it, but this was definitely not that. When I saw it, I was like, "See, y'all made me wait all this time for this." Because you sit in there, you watch all of the credits, you're like, ooh, and then that like you get up, it's like I honestly expected the first cutscene. I don't know about you guys, but I expected that 100%. I was like, oh, here we are in a grocery store, boom, 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 whatever. It was like, this is like, give him his shine, because he's been begging for it the whole movie. So please give him his moment. So I was like, yeah, but this really felt like Marvel trying to force feed us Yelena, because they fucked up with our girl Black Widow, and this is like it's really what it felt like. It felt like, oh, here's Yelena. I know we fucked up with Scarlet, but she's much better. And I don't know if that's true or not, but you know what I mean. But this definitely felt like more of a Yelena movie than anything else. Like it was like, all right, we'll throw Sentry in there, we'll throw the rest of them in here, but this is really about us wanting you to really like Yelena, because we do. We want Florence Pugh to be the next Black Widow, White Widow, whatever you want to call it, but she's a widow, and that's where we're at. So,
well, with that said, I am excited about Fantastic Four. I hope it's good. I'm still not necessarily a fan of Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, but like,
yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, we don't like dang, what was he on Stranger Things? He was what was his name again?
Eddie.
Yeah, we don't like Eddie as Johnny Storm.
That blonde wig.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's giving me like, okay, what the fuck? So you guys obviously remember seeing the movie, what the fuck is it called now? I can't remember it. Fuck. I just literally had it at the top of my tongue.
What movie were you talking about? Yeah.
It's
describe it if you can't think of the name.
Fuck. Yeah, talk about it. There's like a cut scene. Okay, so the movie where the movie where Robert Downey Jr. portrays the black man. What is that movie called?
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
Okay, sorry. So there's a scene in Tropic Thunder where Robert Downey Jr. has on the blonde wig and he's doing the whole like the church scene, where like
yeah.
That's, I'm not gonna lie, it took me back to that. Like, all I was waiting for was like the little outfit. I was like, whoa, this is not a good look. Like, we should have just let that one go.
Like, it's given Jessica Alba and the other Fantastic Four all over again. Like with the wig, like it just doesn't look
with the eyes.
Yeah, and the eye, like it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And then also, like, forgive me, I'm about to
hold on. Let me get
dying.
But
oh man,
I'm about to say something graphic.
Oh.
But like when I think of Johnny Storm, pussy should be wet. Like panties should be dropping. Like I should be pre-coming right now, just thinking about Johnny Storm in terms of like the way he, and not to say Joseph Quinn is unattractive. He's not unattractive. When I look at him, like I'm not pre-coming right now. Like I don't get that from him. Like take your shirt off, flaming hot. Like there's a moment in the comics where like he's in Antarctica and he's wearing like flaming shorts and flaming boots and he's shirtless in Antarctica. Like I don't get that vibe from him, like that sex symbol type vibe from him as Johnny Storm.
Yo, they should have put Glenn Powell as Johnny Storm. That would have been a little bit more appealing to see. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he's too old. He's a little too old for that. Like, so,
I mean, but I'm just saying.
But that vibe, I agree.
Yeah,
with.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yes.
So, Michael, you're saying he doesn't get you wet? Is that?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Is that what I just learned?
Yeah,
Johnny Storm.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Don't you don't get
Yo,
where do we go from here?
I agree with you, Michael. I agree.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's not unattractive, but yeah, he's not Chris Evans.
He's not
like
a
Lisa
sex
said.
symbol. He's not a sex symbol, and Johnny Storm is a sex symbol. Like that's what we know Johnny Storm to be. You know what I'm saying? He's the playboy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's supposed to be like just dripping. You know, like Mike's got a point. Like he was right when I saw that he was I was like, that's Johnny Storm. Like I was like, damn, he's supposed to be like real attractive, and this is. I mean, it just wasn't hitting it for me. I don't know. For some people, yes, I agree with Michael though. It wasn't hitting it. I was like, oh, okay. I thought the flame guy was supposed to be hot.
Oh my God. Yo, where was his energy when he was fighting off demons in the Upside Down?
He was kicking ass and taking names. I mean, I loved Eddie. Eddie was fucking rocking out. You know what I'm saying?
It's not Johnny Storm.
Yeah. He was killing demogorgons with his rock, okay? He wasn't fucking flaming on. So
I see what's going on here. I see exactly what's going on. This isn't Eddie from Stranger Things is just so unattractive that he shouldn't have the role. This is I miss Chris Evans. He was so hot and he was Lisa better.
Perfect. You can't downgrade Chris Evans to this.
That's exactly what. So this is like it's kind of like the Tomb Raider effect a little bit, huh? Nobody saw the Tomb Raider with old girl from Deus Ex Machina, but we remember them few trash movies that Angelina, and regardless of how bad they were, we was like, that's Laura Croft. You know what I'm saying? Right? So yeah, I get it. I guess I did. Yeah, I mean, I guess if we had like if Beyonce was playing a role of Vixen, and then all of a sudden it was
Miley Cyrus,
old girl from Moesha, whatever, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I can see where y'all coming from, but yeah, I didn't. Sorry, you won't get the moisture that you were looking for, Michael. But yeah, that's Fantastic Four. Now there is another thing going on with Fantastic Four that I wanted to get your opinion on before we can move on to Last of Us and maybe a little Andor. And don't forget, I do have a quick clip from my interview with my man from Supercell, since Supercell 2 is going to be coming on the docket pretty soon. But yeah, I'm curious, Michael, because we did talk about you liking Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is about to be released, but they have another character in the Fantastic Four realm right now that we think is frankly interesting casted. Old girl, if anybody here watched the Ozarks, we now have a new Silver Surfer, and the Silver Surfer online has been getting a little bit of kickback because it's clearly not Norrin Rad, and we know how you feel about Norrin Rad because you actually shared some of these feelings with us right here on this very show. It's been a little while, but just to refresh those of you guys' memories, since last time Michael was able to grace our screen with his presence, he shared, along with myself, our love for a character named Norrin Rad and how we feel this character should be depicted, and I promise I'm not slowing down to stall as I find the video. I promise that's not what I'm doing. But here's what he said originally. Depictions of Norrin Rad, where he is clearly what I consider a black man.
Silver Surfer's a nigga. I don't care what I'm about. Like, he's a runaway slave. About his origin, that they about how escaping like he's a runaway slave. He might not know racism or Zen law, but you come into Earth as a silver, you're gonna be treated like a nigga when you get here. I mean, even looking like Martian Manhunter, he's green. But he came to Earth and he's like, nah, I identify with these folks over here. Just like Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z is black, Silver Surfer is 100% black. So they better cast a black man if they finally introduce him in the MCU.
Well, they did not, Mr. Michael Lamar. They casted this young lady as Silver Surfer. And I know that that's not Norrin Rad. It's somebody else. But what are your thoughts on this casting of the Silver Surfer for the Fantastic Four movie, my friend? What say you?
I mean, a lot of people are upset because they, cast a woman as the female version of Silver Surfer, and a lot of it is like you got the typical people that like no matter what, and even if you cast a comically accurate woman, people still gonna be mad. Like, look at all the people upset and bashing Brie Larson over being Captain Marvel. Yeah. There are those people, but also at the same time though, like I'm of two mindsets of it. I'm like, okay, whatever, they cast a woman, all right, fine, it is what it is. But like part of me also is like, but I don't like being that we never had a live action version of the actually we have but in the MCU. This is our first time in the MCU of us getting the Silver Surfer. Part of me is like, but why though? Like, why do this? But also at the same time, I don't really have that big of an issue with it because it is an Elseworld. It is literally taking place in another universe. So that's not to say that once they come into this universe, there won't be a Norrin Rad. It's just in this particular universe, it's, I guess, Shia LaBeouf. So
okay. I didn't think of it that way. That is a great point. That talks me off the ledge because I was feeling some kind of way. And again, to repeat what you said, it's not because she's being casted as a woman. That's not it. It's just because I want the Norrin Rad story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel cheated from it. I feel we haven't had a chance to really experience Zen La. We didn't get to see the relationship with him and Shia LaBeouf. We don't really know about him and Galactus and how Galactus had him all sewed up. Didn't let him go nowhere and made him feel like you had to serve me in order to keep Zen La safe. Like we didn't go there. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason I'm feeling some sort of way about this. And also remember, Lawrence Fishburne, like we said in the quote, was the voice of Silver Surfer in the original Fantastic Four. What also does it say that we're now working on another Fantastic Four movie in which Silver Surfer is prominent? I mean, that happened already. Did it not? I mean, what are we doing? Like, why are we recycling so many ideas? Is this I don't know. Let me just step off my high horse here. Anthony, do you have any feelings on this at all, man? I know you read the comics as well. Are you a Norrin Rad fan? Do you have any feelings about Silver Surfer? Does this have any impact on you and your feelings about the upcoming Fantastic? I know you haven't really been messing with Marvel too tough in the recent days anyway, but what any opinion on this, bro? Uh-oh.
I got complicated feelings. Because on one hand, I wasn't never checking for the Fantastic Four in the first place, right? I never really liked their comics. Their cartoon was cool as a kid. Anytime they came out with a movie, the movies didn't really do anything to make me a stronger fan. I know that Marvel liked the Fantastic Four. They kept bringing the book back from the verge of cancellation with, I don't know why. But I never really checked for the Fantastic Four. But seeing, I'm, just piggybacking on what Michael was saying, I'm the same way. It's like, this is a different universe. Marvel has already strayed away from being comic accurate a long time ago, right? They already played us with the Reed Richards. We got a Chilean Reed Richards now. They already have showed us that they're going to diverge off of what we know when they bring stuff to the MCU. And I understand a little bit of the pushback, because there'd be times where I think about how, you got to think about how popular a character has to be to get adapted into anything, right? Like, you can't just be surface level popular. You have to be so popular that you build up such a big fan base for the producers to even notice you. So I feel like for all those people that invested in Norrin Rad, I would be disappointed too, because they're the ones that helped make him popular enough for this to even be adapted.
Yes. Yeah, man. That's the part. It's like, and of course, the beef was that Norrin Rad is of darker hue in the comics, in some of the comics, and in the animated series. So to see him kind of stepped over, but Michael gives me hope because he's right. If we're coming from
I don't know, might not.
If we're coming from another Earth,
Maybe not.
yeah, there might be some potential to still preserve the legacy of Norrin Rad. And again, it's not just, and even though I thought this was Shalabao, but evidently it might not even be Shalabao, which is like, well, damn, who is this bitch? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? But yeah, as long as we still get a decent story, then I won't be too angry about it. One thing that's definitely a decent story nowadays is, for those who are watching Last of Us, it's been a roller coaster. And I mean,